Hello and welcome back to my channel, and today I will show you, if you are completely beginner to Unity, how you will install it and open Unity, how you implement your Visual Studio, and then I will go through some basics inside Unity. Yeah, so let's get to it. So the first thing that you of course need to do is to download Unity. And to download Unity, you can go to unity.com, then you can go to Developer Tools, download Unity, and here you can download for Windows. If you have Mac or Linux, it can be downloaded down here. When you have downloaded that, when you have downloaded Unity, you will of course install it on your PC or Mac or Linux, and then you open up the Unity Hub. The Unity Hub looks like this. When you open it up first time, you will not have all these projects. This is all my projects, some of them. Then you can go to the install button here, and here you will be able to install the nearest Unity. I will recommend to use this one and not take the alpha. When that is installed, you can go back to your projects, and in the projects here you can make a new project, and here we have different templates, as you see here. The basic ones are the 2D, and this is of course for 2D games, and the 3D is for normal 3D games. 3D plus extra, it is built in a renderer, and here we have some more advanced ones with better better lighting, and they have actually built up a little scene for you. So if you're going for higher quality games, and the same for this one. To get more in depth what the different templates is, you can go to this page, and here you can read more about what the different templates have. I will leave the link in the description for this one, and I will leave a link in the description for your Unity as well. But in this tutorial I will just use the 2D. So let's create a project. Oh, here of course remember to name your project, and I'll just call this one tests, and you need a location for your file. Let's create project. So now we are inside Unity, and the first thing that we'll need to do is to go to our preferences. Here we should go to external tools, and here you have to be sure that Visual Studio is selected. Then just close it down again. So what do we see here? To the left over here we have our menu. This is everything you have in your scene. If you see up here, you have scene, you have package manager, you have game view over here. All views can be dragged where you want to place them, like this. So you have one screen. It's simply up to you. So this is your main camera, as you see here. inside that is what you see over here in the game view. If you right click, you can create different objects. We have some 3D objects, we have some 2D objects, we have some effects, lights, audio, video, UI. Remember, we do not have everything in here because we choose the 2D template. If you are choosing the 3D template, you have something else to choose. And if you create something here, this is just an empty object. I'll just try here. Then you can see it will be added over here, and I'll just name this text. And this is just an empty object. Up here we have the different move tools. We have a hand, we have a move tool, we have a rotate, we have a scale, we have a rect tool that you can, if you have a box, then you can pull the corners as you have in many other programs. And then you have a wheel where you have all functions in one. So if you take the move tool here, you can see you can move this to the left and right, and we can move up and down. Over here to the right, you can see in the inspector, you can see this is the object we have here, and you can see the position of it. Yes. Then down here in the left corner, we have our project folder, and this is everything you import. So if you have images, 3D models, when you are creating a script that we will do later, everything will be here. So you can right click here as well. You can import new assets. I will show you that as well. You can create new folders. This is the script. Materials, render textures, a lot of things in here. I will only go through some of them today. Then we have what do we have? Yeah, over here to the right we have the animation. This is if you want to create an animation for one of your objects. Let's create one fast here. If you have a 2D object, let's add a sprite here. And then if you have a sprite, you will need to add some kind of an image. Let's see, do I have anything here? We have a standard knob in here. So here you can see the knob. Here you can see the scene view. This is the one you're working in. The game view is how it will look when you play the game. Up here in the top you have the play and you have the pause. You can of course in the game view say you want to maximize on play, then it will be full screen, or click it off. If you don't have it on and you hit play, you can see it will just stay like this, and let's pause and maximum, it will take full screen of the game view. The animation is actually very simple. You can, if you highlight your sprite over here, create animation, we will just say test anim, anim, hit save. Now we have started an animation. So if you take this red dot here, the record button, let's move it up here, take the sprite, move it over here, stop the recording, take back, hit play, and there you go. You made a little animation. And you can always move it in here or adjust it with the positions here or whatever you want. You can add something to it as well. If you want to make a new clip, you can simply just press up here, create a new clip. When you create an animation like this, it will put it in your folder, in your projects. And this is the animation. And this is the animated controller. If we highlight the sprite again, you can see over here we have an animator. It creates it automatically when you make the animation. and here you have a controller, and this is the one. So if you highlight that one, we will have to open the controller, so Windows, Animator, and that's the one we have here. Let me drag it up here, just so we better can see it like this. And this is actually where you control your animation. So this animation you have here is the one you have here. So if you delete this one and drag it in, that's your animation. And here you can control it with floats, integer, booleans, triggers. If you want to know how this works, take a look at my tutorials. I have many tutorials. Some of them is about animation. I have something how to build a game, dialog boxes, a lot of different things. Again, in here I will just go through the basics. So let's close down this again. What else do we have? Yeah, let's create a text. If you right click, we have your UI. I will recommend here to use the TextMesh Pro text. If you have the normal text we have in here, you can see it is a bit blurry. And I don't know why, but that's how Unity text works. But if you create, when you create a text, it will automatically create a canvas for you. A canvas is what to say? It's down here. This is what is shown. It's the camera. It's what shows in the game view. But the canvas is an overlay of the screen. So behind it we have, you can see down here, you have that little dot we made before, and on top of it we have this canvas. And this is actually where you are placing, if you are making a game, it's where you're placing your action bar, your health bars, your inventory, if you have that, things like that. That is placed on the canvas normally. You can of course do it other ways. So as I said, this is the normal text. I will recommend to use the TextMesh Pro. It's much better quality and you have more functions on it. First time you use it, it will ask you to import the TextMesh Pro. So let's do that. And you can already see here the quality of the text. It's much better. And again, if you see the normal text, you have the standard. You can bold it, yeah, the italic, the normal. You can change color on it, the size here, stuff like that. The TextMesh Pro text, it's the same. You can choose colors, font size. You have different styles here. Further down we have alignments, and here we have extra settings. Here you can make outline like this, if that is needed. You have underlay. You have you can see it gets a little shadow here. There's a lot of different features in this one, so I will recommend using that one. Yeah. So let's try create a script where we can control this text. So if you right click here and create a script, and this one we will call test. Test. Now create an empty object, and this could be, let's say, a text controller. Drag your script to this object, and you can double click here, or you can double click here to open it up in Visual Studio. And everything you need to do something with, you need to reference it somehow. There are many different ways to do it. I will show you a simple one. You can say, if you need a reference to that text field we made out there, you can say public text. Already here you can see there's a red line under it, and this means that it is not implemented in your script. So if you right click it, quick actions, here it will say you need to use Unity Engine UI. If you implement it, it will automatically do this. If it doesn't work for you to right click, you can simply just write this up here. And this is if you're using the regular text, but we are using the TextMesh Pro, so we will need to implement using TM Pro. This you will need if you are using TextMesh Pro. So now we can say TextMesh Pro, and here you need to use the GUI for the text, and this is the name, and we will call it test text, like this. So what happens here? Let me do this so you can see the screen behind. And here to the right, you can see this was the script we attached. And this is the code we just write. We needed a reference. And because we made it public, if you make it private and save it, you can see here in a second, it disappears out here. So if it's private, you can't see it from the inspector, but you can still use it inside the script. Another way to do it, you can make it public, as we just did before, and then you can see it out in the inspector here. The only thing about making something public is that now you can access it from another script. So you can actually accidentally change this value from another script, because maybe you have something called the same, or you made a reference to it. But if you make it private, now you can't access it from another script. But if before it, make these two brackets and say serialized field, and save that one. Now it's private, but you can still access it from here. So you can make a reference to it from the inspector, but you will not be able to access it from another script. So this is a good way to use it. And if you want to use it from another script, simply just go in here and change it to public, and then you can access it. So let's go to Unity here, and now you can drag this text field into here. So now we have a reference to the text. Yeah, that is how you make the reference. So now let's use that for something. Let's make another serialized field text, and here we'll make a public string, a private string, and this we will call text. Save it. So now it should pop up here. A string is like a text field. as you can see here. A good way if you wanna write longer texts, if you see here, let's say hello world, and yeah, let's just keep like this. You can see it's very hard to go through all this, but if you only need to write hello world, it's fine. But the other way to do it is if above it you write area or text area, sorry, and if you save that one, you can see now it will be a text field. So you can, it's much more clean, and you will have a scroll bar if you are writing too much. So what can we use this for? So in this update function here, the start function you have here is if you write something here, this will happen right away. You start the game. The update will happen each frame. So it how to say, if yeah, it keeps trying to access the code all the time. But here in the start we can say our test text dot text is equal. So what I say here is this text we have here, the reference we have to, the one you have on the screen out here, that one is equal to the text, so the string here. And when we do this, this is when we start. So if you copy this and go down to update, why we need this I can show you in a second, and hit you can actually remove it from here, but let's save and head to Unity. So now if you hit the play button, you can see hello world, it rewritten here. Oh, the animation is running as well. And if you type something, you can see it's updating right away, like this. So the difference between what I just did here is because I'm calling it each frame. So when I update the text, it will update on the screen as well. If you only have it in the start function here, then it only happens one time when you start the game. So now we start the game, hello world. But if you type something, nothing happens because it's not updating. So that's the difference. You can of course still remove it from the start and only type it here. And if you go back again, hit the play button, it will still, because it's calling it each frame, it will be there right away. And you can of course still write something. Yes. One thing more I can show you here, I can just see in the background, you can see this animation is running all the time. Remember, on your animation here, you have a loop time. So now it's only playing once. Yeah, one last thing I will show you in this tutorial. Sorry, it's being so long. That will be to add images. So again, here on the canvas, you can 2D objects. Oh, sorry, UI objects. We have images. Here you can add your own images. If you have them in your project folder, you can change the colors. and you can add materials. Raycast target. Raycast target means that if you have a game and you press here, if you have it checked true, then you can't press through it. So if you have something behind it, you can't click it, and if you mark it off, you can click through it. And in the script, it works the same way as the other one. Let's fast make a test here. So if let's make a serialized field, and here we say private image. And if you're using image for the first time, it will turn red as well. And this is because you need to use using Unity Engine.ui as well. And here we will just call it test image, like this. And it works the same way. Out here it will give a reference field for the image. Let's drag it over so we do not forget it. So now we have the image. Let's take the image here and just make it white from the start. And then we can say, in the start function, when the game begins, we can say test image dot color is equal to color dot red. Save the script. And what you saw here is test image. That is the image we reference to. We are going for the color. This is the image. We are going down here to the color. And then we are setting the color here to red. So let's head back to Unity, hit the play button. And there we go. Hello world, and it's red. Yeah, one thing I will need to show you is that Unity has a really good site called Asset Store. In here you can find a lot of models. Some are expensive, some are cheap, some is free. You can find a lot of bundles for your game. This is you should check it out. If you're building something, you can find some really good this is some 3D models. You have a dungeon here, I can see. Yeah, that's really many in here. It's really helpful. Yeah, that was what I had to show in this tutorial. Thanks a lot for watching, and check out my my YouTube page for other tutorials. I have many, so if you need any help, check it out. And yeah, again, please hit the like and subscribe button below, and see you next time.